Should I pursue MIM right now, or should I wait and get WorkX and then pursue MBA? I was pondering over the same question about 2 years ago, and I know that it gets really confusing deciding whether to pursue MIM or wait and then pursue MBA. But don't worry, this video will be the answer to this confusion, and after watching this video, your confusion will just evaporate. So in this video, I'll cover 4 key topics. Number 1, differences between an MIM and an MBA. Number 2, pros and cons of pursuing an MIM. Number 3, my opinion on whether you should pursue an MIM or an MBA. Number 4, if you pursue MIM now, would you need to pursue MBA afterwards? Welcome to Bani Abroad. If you're new to this channel, then I make content on studying and settling abroad that will give you an edge. So make sure that you don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit it right now. Also, if you want to study from one of the top B schools, then I'm here to help you through my consulting service Collegiado, in which I help with the entire application process. So if you're interested, then the link is in the description box as well as in the first comment. So let's discuss the differences first. But before going into that, just let me tell you briefly about MBA and MIM. So MBA is a popular degree. I do not need to tell much about it. Its full form is Master of Business Administration, whereas MIM on the other hand is known by many names. So if you hear MIM, Master in Management, Master of Management, which is MMGT, or MSc in Management or MSc in International Business, these are mostly the same. Just one thing that you have to be careful about is the MSc title. So if there is this MSc in the title name, then it means that it's research oriented. You'll have to conduct a research, you'll have to write a thesis. But depending on the country and the university, MSc, even though the title would have MSc, it would not involve a thesis. So make sure that you do your research first. You go through the course curriculum, and if you go through it, you will get to know whether you are required to write a thesis or conduct a research or not. One interesting fact, the program that you think is MBA, the people who study MBA at the IIMs, that is actually equivalent to an MIM and not an MBA outside. It's just a fact. Don't look too much into it. Of course, if you're pursuing IIM from India, that's great. It's just that that is equivalent to an MIM abroad, and employers dig for IIM in India, so it doesn't matter. Now that we are clear on the basics, let's dig into the differences. So the number 1 difference I want to tell you about is the origin. MBA was originated in the US, whereas MIM was originated in Europe. So that's why MIM is more popular in Europe rather than in North America. Of course, it's gaining traction, but predominantly it's more of a European thing. Since it originated in Europe, people are more familiar with this degree in Europe. Hence, European employers are more familiar with this degree rather than the North American ones. But of course, even in North America, it's gaining traction. And it's not that if you pursue MIM from Europe, then only you will get a decent ROI. Coming to the second difference, which is the eligibility requirement. So you can pursue MIM only if your work experience is from 0 to 2 years. And if you have a work experience of more than 2 years, then there's no chance that you can apply to the MIM program and get admitted, because in that case, either they'll advise you or automatically transfer your application to the MBA program. Now, since we talked about eligibility, let's also talk about the admission requirements. So the third difference is whether you'll have to take a GRE or GMAT test in order to submit your application. So for most 99% of the top B schools, they will require a GMAT score, and few of them can even accept a GRE score. But for MIM, there are a lot of B schools which will exempt you from GMAT or GRE. So if you never in your life want to take that test, GMAT or GRE, then you should go for MIM. Coming to the fourth difference, which is also regarding the admission requirement, and that is your percentage, your undergrad percentage. So for MIM, it definitely matters. Of course, like they will consider your holistic profile, but compared to an MBA, it plays a more important role. I'll explain why. MIM, as you know now, is for people who have less than 2 years of work experience. So they are recent graduates and their education is fresh in their mind, and you can test their ability on that as well. And you can take that as a proxy to their intellect. But for an MBA, people come to this degree with more than 2 years of work experience, and their education has kind of faded in the background because they have a lot of work experience on top of that. So the percentage kind of takes a backseat and not much importance is placed on that. But the more recent thing, which is their work experience, that is evaluated. Now, taking this fact into account, considering that you have a pretty low percentage in your undergrad, then your chances of getting an admit would be more in the MBA program rather than in the MIM program. program. Of course, you'll have to build a decent profile on top of that, but considering all other factors to be fixed, considering that you'll perform really well in your work and you'll have a great profile, then your chances are more in the MBA program. Having said that, MIM, as I told you, both the degrees, they take a holistic picture. It's just that the weightage of percentage is more in the MIM program rather than in the MBA program. But if your low percentage was because of some health issue, or maybe you were focused on some other thing and that's why you could not lay that much importance on your grades, then it's fine. You can still get into one of the top B schools, but of course your SOP, your resume will have to be pretty solid and you'll have to justify your low percentage. And another thing is that you can justify that by having a pretty decent GMAT score, and you can explain that my percentage was low because of some issues, but see, my GMAT score, that's a better proxy to my intellect rather than the percentage. Now that we have covered the admission requirements and the eligibility, let's talk about the class profile. So coming to the fifth difference, which is the average age. So typically in an MBA program, the average age is around 27 years, whereas for the MIM program, it's 23 years. And that's self-explanatory, as the work experience required is more in MBA as opposed to in MIM. Coming to the sixth point, which is not exactly a difference, that's the class background. So both in MBA and in MIM, there will be people from different countries, from different backgrounds. They'll have different undergrad majors, different degrees altogether. So you will get a lot of diversity in your classroom. Now coming to the seventh difference, which is the difference in duration. So an MBA program is typically 1 to 2 years, whereas an MIM program can be anywhere from 9 months to 2 years, and even in some cases 3 years, where there is an option of gap year. So in that case, students can take a year off and just do their internships and then come back to pursue their second year. So holistically, that program will then take 3 years to complete. And most of the core MIM programs that I've seen, they are majorly 1 year in North America. Now let's talk about money. How much would it cost you to pursue an MBA versus an MIM? MBA is damn expensive. MBA can cost you anywhere from 100 to 150,000 US dollars, and that is for international students. For domestic students, it would be a little cheaper, but for international students, it is above $100,000. Whereas MIM, on the other hand, can be as cheap as 10,000 US dollars to as expensive as 55,000 US dollars. So typically, the tuition cost of MIM is half the cost of an MBA. Now the ninth difference revolves around the curriculum. So the curriculum of an MIM is basically the foundational courses plus a few electives, whereas for MBA it's all the foundational courses plus a specialization. In the second year you get to choose your specialization, so you can take the subjects related to that particular specialization and then make a career in that particular field. But for an MIM, the electives that are there, they don't go much into detail because it's just like maybe a term or so of the electives. And after an MIM, you can't say that I'm specialized in that domain, but there are a few B schools which do offer specializations even for MIM students, but those B schools, those are very few. Now coming to the 10th and the third last difference, which is regarding the delivery mode. So the course delivery in an MBA is more practical than in the MIM program, where it's more theoretical. So all the points that we've discussed till now either revolve around before doing this program or during this program. Now let's talk about the ROI, the outcome that you'll get after these degrees. So the 11th and the second last difference is about the jobs. So for an MIM graduate, the job role would be entry level, whereas for an MBA graduate, it would be mid-level. So the roles that an MIM graduate can expect are those of associate or business analyst, but for an MBA, it can be senior consultant. Now, of course, even an MIM graduate can progress onto the role of a senior consultant, but this is right after graduation. Now coming to the last difference, which is about your salary. So I know that there are a lot of figures quoted on the internet and they are different depending on different websites, and I won't tell you those numbers. I'll tell you the numbers that I've actually heard people receiving, because those can be inflated or those can be misleading. So I know for sure what is the salary in Canada because I have pursued MIM and I've talked to people who have pursued MBA. So for an MIM graduate in Canada from one of the top B schools, you can expect anywhere from 50,000 to 70,000 Canadian dollars. And for an MBA graduate, you can expect 80,000 Canadian dollars. And of course, the salary would be higher for people who have more years of experience, but the minimum salary that you can get after MBA would be 80,000 Canadian dollars. But that's the salary which you will get after graduating from one of the top B schools. So we have covered 12 differences. Now let me drink some water. I hope that now you are really clear on the differences and you are already there on the way that okay, this might be better for me, or I should wait and pursue MBA, or no, I don't want to wait, MIM seems the perfect fit for me, I should pursue MIM. I hope that you are somewhere there, but if you're not, don't worry, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of pursuing an MIM and all the other topics that I discussed in the beginning of the video. So first, let's discuss the pros of doing an MIM. The first benefit is that after pursuing your MIM, you can get roles at top companies, which you might not have gotten after your undergrad, depending on the kind of institution that you were in. So if you want to go into those top-notch companies, in that case, MIM can be a good pathway for you. Second benefit is that it's an easy pathway to immigrate abroad. Of course, you'll have to pay that much of money and you'll have to invest in your education, spend that time. But if you know that eventually you have to settle abroad, then this is a great opportunity, because one, you get to learn in that culture, and second, the employers will of course value their country's education because they know how things work and they know that you have been through the system, so you are familiar with all the aspects. The third benefit is that you don't like your existing job, or you don't like the kind of jobs which you will get right after your undergraduation, and you can't bear the thought that you will have to work more in this particular field in case you want to do an MBA. So you don't want to wait those 2 years. So you just know that this is not for you and you want to switch, then also MIM is for you. The fourth benefit is that you can get exposure to a B school at half the tuition cost, or even in some cases 1/4. You've seen that some degrees are just worth $10,000 US. So if your motive is just to fulfill that dream of studying abroad, whatever the degree is, but of course related to business, and you want to study at one of the top B schools and then get back to your home country with your experience, maybe start a business or work in the corporate field, then also this is good for you. Now that I've addressed the pros, let's talk about the cons as well. So the first con is that it's not as popular as MBA. So some employers might not be aware of this, but of course with time a lot of people are getting aware of this degree and they are giving it a lot of importance. So of course it does not compare to MBA in terms of reputation. The second con is that since this degree is for people with less than 2 years of work experience, you might not have figured out what you really want to do in your life. As in, what specialization do you want to carve your career in? So in that case, this is a drawback, because there are a few B schools, as I mentioned, which do offer the specialization, although they are very few. But if you happen to go to that B school and then you have to decide your specialization, you wouldn't have that breadth and depth of experience to objectively evaluate what is the specialization that is the best for you. So in that case, after completing your degree, when you actually go out in the corporate world and you start working in that field, you may realize that that was not for you. So in this case, this can turn out to be a con for you. But most of these MIM degrees, these are general, so you can escape this con. But make sure that if you are going to a B school which will ask you for a specialization later on, you should know that okay, this is the field I want to explore. But personally, I believe that you can only know that if you have experience. Now that we have talked in length whether about the differences or the pros and cons, now is the time for me to tell you who should pursue an MIM and who should pursue an MBA. So of course, if you have more than 2 years of work experience, you are late to the MIM board, you'll have to pursue MBA. But for those people who are pursuing their undergrad or who are just having 1 year of experience, they can still contemplate whether to do an MIM or an MBA. So for those students who want to immigrate to another country as soon as possible and they don't want to work in their home country, then I would say MIM is the option for you, because for MBA you'll have to wait. Also, for those students who want to try their hand at entrepreneurship and they just want to get started and just want basic business foundation, then also MIM is the degree for you, because you don't have to wait those years to get that work experience and then pursue MBA and then start your business. Of course, a degree is not at all important to start a business, but if you feel that you do want to have a proper education and then start your venture, then also MIM would be the right fit for you. Now, the third set of people who should pursue an MIM rather than MBA are those people who don't like the job opportunities after their undergrad and they want to switch their career and they don't want to work in that field. Then also you should pursue MIM. So now I hope that you are crystal clear, but let me just address one last question and then we'll end this video. Now addressing the $1 million question. If you pursue MIM, is your education done for life? So most people just pursue the masters and then they don't pursue any degree. Of course, there are people who pursue another masters or a PhD, but if you think that this is the last degree in the world that you ever want to do, then that might or might not be the case. So the answer to this is it depends. And now let me tell you what that depends on. That depends on where you are after pursuing your MIM, not just 1 or 2 years, but like 3 or 4 years down the lane. And if you are already getting those opportunities which MBA people get, then of course there's no need to pursue an MBA. But if you feel that in your company or maybe the roles that you want to pursue, you'll get a salary hike or a position jump, if you pursue MBA, then of course you'll have to do that. And another thing is that if you wanted to start a business and you already got the skills and rest of the skills you are learning while building the business, then also you don't need to pursue an MBA. So we are finally done. I know this was a pretty exhaustive video, but I wanted to clear all the points in this one video so that after watching this video, you know if MIM is for you or not, and if you should wait for those 2-3 years and then pursue your MBA. And another thing I want to tell you, I'm sorry to lengthen this video, but I want you to have all the knowledge. So if after watching this video you feel that you don't want to pursue MIM but also feel that MBA is damn expensive, how will you ever afford it, then I have some good news for you. One can be that you become a domestic student, so automatically your tuition fee would be reduced. And the other part is that a lot of companies these days sponsor their employees MBA. So if you want to stick in that very company and you just want to expand your skill set and make a position jump and not a company switch, then also you can get fully funded MBA from your employer. And the third is of course scholarships. You can work towards creating an excellent profile and get a scholarship and then pursue your MBA. So I hope now you are crystal clear and you don't have any other questions, but still if you do, leave that in the comment box. And now if you think that I made your life easier, then please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more useful content like this. And also don't forget to hit that bell icon. Until my next video, take care and stay happy. Bye.